What's up, people? I am back for another video. Um, so I'm still gonna do Dragged Across Concrete. Might be a little bit later, so either be later tonight or like today before I go to the movies, or tomorrow. Movie one of the two. But today, I figured I wanted to get this one out first. Today, I'm reviewing the 2006 Hills Have Eyes. I remember when this came out. I didn't see it when it came out. I saw it like 2009, 10. It was like around that time, and I remember just being like, "What the fuck?" And then I rewatched it again a couple years later, like after that, and man, that movie is, to me, this is way better than the original, especially after rewatching it. Like, this is a case where I think the remake did it better. I think the tone. The only thing I think the original did better is I think Pluto's design was better in the original. I don't really like Pluto's design in this. He looks too much like I was thinking the whole time, like, he looks like Jason, like unmasked Jason in like the earlier movies. So that was like my only beef. But the Jupiter family is much more violent. I love the tone. Like, even this, like the little sounds that are in the desert. I think they get that right. They get the atmosphere right. I think the family are much better done in this movie. They're more like, there's some more character, way more better pacing. And man, that scene when the Jupiters first attack, when they attack the trailer, is pretty. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to watch. Like when they, two of them start raping uh and then I think her name's Brenda, and they kidnap the baby. Like, they don't hold back on the violence in this movie. Like, this one goes hard, and like basically, relatively, it's a similar plot. Like, this family, Bob and his family are going from Cleveland to San Diego. I think it's the only difference is San Diego, not Los Angeles, like in the original. And you have the same kind of locals kind of warn them to not go. Yeah, their tires end up getting punctured, and they have to stay the night. And this is where we meet the Jupiters, and you still have Ruby. Ruby's kind of I will say this though, like, unlike in the original, Ruby is more of a character. Ruby in this she's there, but she's not like a main character, like in the original. But Pluto, Papa Jupiter, man, they're fucking creepy in this, man. I actually really like the whole backstory change that they're a bunch of mutated family, because the government did nuclear testing and ended up affecting these people, and that's why they're like this. I actually kind of like that origin. I think it's an interesting way to change the story, and yeah, I would say watch this one. This is rare case where this is one of the rare cases I'd say watch the remake over the original. I think this one does the original story much better. Like, it takes the original story but does it better. The main characters are okay. Bobby, Doug, you have like Bobby's like the older brother, and then I think Doug is like the angsty younger brother who's like into guns. Um, and even the dad's death was pretty brutal. Like, he gets like burned on the stake, and that's when the Jupiters attack. Like, yeah, man, this one is kind of hard to watch in that sense. So if you're not into like gross shit, I would definitely say you don't watch this, because they don't hold back, man. Even the scene where Doug finds the Jupiter's house, and you see the one on the fucking chair, like on the rocking chair, and he like's all like deformed. Like, I think it's the other thing. I really like I'm wondering if that was all practical. It seems like it is, but yeah, man. So definitely, this is a case where I think if I ever want to watch Hills Have Eyes, I'm definitely gonna just stick to this one. Unfortunately, we got a really dog shit second movie, which I'm not even gonna review it. It's gonna be a rant. Because I think they dropped the ball so much in the next one. Because this one, even the way this one ends, kind of sets up a second one, and then just, yeah. But overall, I would give this one a 9 out of 10. I think this is a really good movie. Decent characters. The gore is there. It's if you're a horror fan, you'll love it. So yeah, man, I definitely really like the Hills Have Eyes remake. So next week we got that really awful second one. So, but other than that, later today or early tomorrow morning, either or, I'll be doing Dragged Across Concrete, and then tomorrow night I'll be doing my Renfield review, and that's so far what I got at least through Sunday, and then I'll go into tomorrow. I'll go into what my schedule is gonna be this coming week. But yeah, okay, go Bob Carter and his family are traveling, going from Cleveland to San Diego in the desert, and the family's, in my opinion, much better. Like you actually remember them. I felt like, aside from, I think Bobby was also in the original, but Bobby in the original just he was just kind of there. Basically, relatively, it plays out similar. You know, they're traveling through the desert. You get to kind of know them. They run into the locals who warn them to basically don't stay out after dark, and you know. Then their van, not van, their tires end up getting punctured by a spike strip, probably set up by the Jupiter family. So they have to go find help, and the rest of the family stay in the trailer. One of the dogs escape, and dog ends up getting killed. You know, sad. Um, it's where we meet Ruby. Um, while Bob's at a gas station, this is where we kind of find out about like somewhat like the quick backstory of the Jupiters in this. I really like the whole nuclear experiment kind of origin story. One, it kind of explains why they are kind of the way they are, and talks about like the disappearances and stuff. I like the way they did it in this, and not made it like a whole fucking um, exposition dump. I like that it is just okay. Let's just have them find some clippings. You kind of can get the idea of why the mutants are deformed and all that. So Bob ends up getting attacked by Papa Jupiter, and this is where, I think this is that scene where Bobby's like basically set on fire. Like, dude, the intensity of this, like they really did a good job. So while this is happening, this is where they start finding more information about the Jupiters. Papa Jupiter, and Pluto and Lizard. Not Papa. Pluto and Lizard. He was like the weird looking one. Invade the trailer. They attack Brenda, and rape her. Kind of like in the original. But this one's definitely much more like visceral. I think that's the big difference. Like the original, it's pretty violent, but this one's visceral. Like the violence is like that scene when Bobby's burned, not Bobby, the dad, Bob, is burned. You like literally like they really make it like that whole scene intense. Like man. So, um, so yeah, Bob was burned to a tree. Basically, he's like a distraction while the Pluto and Lizard attacked the trailer. They Brenda's raped, and um, while Lizard in a scuffle with Catherine, not Catherine, in a scuffle with I think Brenda or Lynn, one of the women. He ends up, cause she like stabs him in the leg while he's distracted, and then he shoots her and Brenda in the chest, and then they take Catherine, who's like the baby. So then Bobby and Doug come back and find like the family. And this is where Doug, along with the dog, search for to try to get Catherine back. They get knocked out. This is kind of where we see more of like the Pluto, the Jupiters. Like we see Mama Jupiter. We see Big Brain. That's the one I was talking about with the really the way that his design is fucked up, man. Just even looking at him, it's just like oof. So yeah, this movie I will tell you, if you're kind of squeamish, don't watch it because this movie is definitely they don't hold back on the violence and not even just the violence, just some of the imagery. Even just Big Brain is like fuck to look at, like just to look at him. So I can understand. So, but I personally love it. I love the set design of this movie. Y'all, I'm a big isolated horror fan, and I think they really caught that feel. And I personally just think Doug and Bobby, the performances in this were decent. They're not amazing, but they were decent. So, Pluto, before Doug's about to kill Big Brain, Pluto shows up. Pluto and Bobby struggle, um, but Pluto ends up getting killed. I'll admit, if I had to say one negative, and it's like a minor, I don't like Pluto's design in this. I think the original Pluto design works more. It's more distinctive because in this, he just looks like regular deformed guy. Or I was thinking he looks like Jason from Part 3 or Part 2 when he's like still human, but he has like a fucked up looking face. That's what it looked like to me. It just looks like Jason. He's Jason who makes noises. That's my or Sloth. Like that's the other one. I think it like Pluto's original design in the original movie or two movies work. It's a simpler design. It's not over the top. But the rest of the family, I thought they did a really good job with the detail. Big Brain ends up getting killed by the dog Beast. Then Ruby manages to save the baby. Brenda and Bobby set up a trap for Lizard. Um, then Ruby ends up tackling, I think Lizard, because Lizard's about to shoot them both. Because he's about to aim the shotgun, and then Ruby tackles him off like the rock, and they end up falling to their death. And Jupiter is end up killed in their explosive trap, and then it ends with another mutant watching, basically setting up sequel, which ends up being absolute goddamn AIDS. But anyway, I'll wait till we get to that one. This one, I genuinely like this movie. It's the atmosphere is great. I love the the characters. I think this is a case where dude, I love gore. So this one they don't hold back. So I can be fine with. But like I said, this if you're squeamish, this one's definitely not for the fan. I would say the same with the first one, but this one too, way more because, dude, the violence in some of the scenes is crazy. And I really think it's like they took the concept of Hills Have Eyes from the original and like just ran with it. I think they this is a what a, to me a remake should be. Ultimately, a remake should almost be better than the original because if you have better technology, you have better like at least theoretically. This is theoretically where we have better technology and better ideas for stories. You think if you're going to do a remake, you should make it better, and I think this is a case where they did that. They took the concept. I think they did way better. So I definitely recommend this one, not the sequel. Just it ends with the second one, ends with another mutant that you think is alive, kind of like a what if, because that second one is so bad. So I'll get into that one later. But the remake is really good. I thought they did a good job with the Jupiters for the most part. I'll admit, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Pluto's design just because he looks kind of generic. He looks like generic deformed man. Whereas Pluto, the original, had a much more distinct look. Like you could recognize it. Even if you've not seen Hills of Ice, that face of Pluto, you could recognize. I just think it. That was the case. Maybe you didn't necessarily need to change the design, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. The Jupiters I thought were great. I really in general like this movie. Like This is how a remake should be done. So, but that's pretty much all I can say. The music was decent. The prosthetics, especially for Big Brain, look really good. Like they really did a good job of making them fucked up. I really like the story change. I think making them like a fucking victims of a nuclear test kind of makes an interesting angle, and it kind of explains why they're deformed the way they are, and it's they don't make it. I also really like that you kind of deduce it just from even just the opening of the movie. They don't give you some long exposition dump like most movies today would. They just kind of give you have an idea, and then yeah. But yeah, that's really all I can say. I definitely recommend this one if you're into horror and if you can take uber violence. So yeah, tomorrow, not tomorrow, tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning, I will be doing Dragged Across Concrete, start my Mel Gibson series. Very, my opinion, really good movie, so I can't wait to talk about that. Tomorrow, for sure, though, I'll be doing Renfield. It'll probably be tomorrow night, most likely. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna cheers and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Or later, maybe. Later or tomorrow. But as usual, talk to y'all later. Fuck Joe Biden. Peace.